Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. We are here at our September 14th live stream, and we're covering the province of Alberta. Alberta, as you may know or may not know yet, is one of the hottest provinces for immigration in 2023. As an entrepreneur or investor, do you know all the program options for you for this province? It has affordable housing. It has one of the safest urban cities in Canada, namely Calgary, has a huge influx of investment in its oil and gas sector. And now it's promoting its IT industry, media production, and its startup ecosystem. Today, we will do a deep dive, raw live stream, unedited, no special effects, no censorship, into Alberta's best immigration programs and of course, expect the raw truth and nothing but, just like the rest of our videos and live streams. Quick introduction. Who am I? Well, I'm Reza from Ingwe, Canada, licensed immigration practitioner, and our office specializes in helping businesses and people move across borders. And yes, I was in Alberta just a few weeks ago. Is this what I do for a living? No, I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensed team here in Canada, working on actual applications and communicating with the immigration departments, both overseas and inside Canada, representing our clients and the clients of our B2B partners. Why are we posting this video? These are made for the purposes of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience, including but not exclusive to existing clients, potential new applicants, and immigration consultants and agencies. And if you're thinking about immigrating, we're here to help. Get a free email assessment for eligible applicants only by filling out the form just down below. And of course, if you're an active immigration practitioner, we can assist you with outsourcing your back office operations. Sounds fancy, right? Well, let's get to it. How many business immigration programs does Alberta really have? Well, it has 4 business immigration programs which are catered to entrepreneurs and also some recent graduates, as well as farmers. The 4 programs are specifically the provincial entrepreneur programs promoted by Alberta, which are work permit to PR streams. At least 3 out of 4 are. Each one caters to a different profile entrepreneur investor, which we'll cover in this live stream today. So let's cover which entrepreneurs and investors are prioritized by the province of Alberta. Well, Alberta's focus is to attract investors and business entrepreneurs based in rural regions of Alberta, outside of Calgary and Edmonton regions, where they're seeking the most amount of investment under the Rural Entrepreneur Program. And they're also looking for young, innovative entrepreneurs under the Foreign Graduate and International Student Graduate programs, who are not restricted by geographic locations and can set up anywhere in Alberta and can implement businesses, of course, in Calgary and Edmonton. They are looking for more innovation, diversity into startups, IT, media production, to divest from their typical and traditional oil and gas sector, which is the driving factor for the economy in Alberta. Passive income business or non-value add businesses are not accepted under the Alberta business immigration stream, such as real estate development or import and distribution and or trading businesses, which are considered non-value add. Traditionally, Alberta has been a hub for cattle farming in Canada, and therefore they have a general farm business program as well for serious farmers, mainly because of the province's tradition in the industry and maintaining their farming industry. Let's look at all the possible provincial investor entrepreneur programs here in Alberta. These are the programs that we'll be covering in our live stream today: the Rural Entrepreneur Program, the Graduate Entrepreneur Program, the Foreign Graduate Entrepreneur Program, which we call the Provincial Startup Visa, and the Farm Program for investors. We'll cover the key highlights, features, advantages, and disadvantages of these programs so you can do a quick comparison and figure out, are you eligible? Is this the right program for you? And should you be considering other alternatives or even other provinces? The Alberta Rural Entrepreneur Stream, our first program of the day. This is one of the only entrepreneur programs in Alberta being offered, which does not require you to actually be a foreign graduate or an international student who's graduated from Alberta. This is the Alberta Rural Entrepreneur Stream, which allows investors to start a new business or buy into an existing business in the province within designated rural communities within the region. Rural communities are defined anything with less than 100,000 population. The province has updated the minimum investment for this specific program to match $100,000 back in April 2023 to make it more competitive and to compete head-to-head with the BC Regional Pilot Program, which is also a very low investment and rural investment program. Let's look at the key features of the Alberta Rural Entrepreneur Stream. To become eligible for this program, you need to be investing in a designated rural community. So it means they should be participating and listed on the Alberta province's website as well. We're going to include the link in our article, which we're going to post after this video as well. It's got to be outside of Calgary and Edmonton metropolitan regions. You cannot be eligible in this program if you plan to invest in any of these two metropolitan areas. There's over 50 communities who are participating in this program. Okay, so you've got a huge amount of options available, unlike other programs. The key features of the eligibility for the Alberta Rural Program are as follows, which you should know. You can buy and start a business in those specific communities. You require an endorsement support letter from the community you plan to invest in. An exploratory trip is, of course, required. You can do a remote video or video conference interview with the Alberta Provincial Immigration Office before they issue your work permit letter of support. You're required to make a minimum investment of $100,000. This was adjusted from $200,000 earlier this year. You require a minimum net worth of $300,000 to be eligible to apply for this program. And the $100,000 that you're investing will be included in your full assets. It can be under your spouse's name, your common law's name, or your own name, or combination. Assets can be liquid funds, deposits, equities, bonds, real estate, equity in businesses, which do have proper valuations from CA or CPA firms. Right? You do need a language exam score of a minimum of Canadian language benchmark of 4, which is the lowest. So you need that at the time of submitting your profile initially to their through their website. You do require a minimum of 3 years of active business ownership experience or 4 years senior management experience in the last 10 years. The work experience has to be documented, and you should have been paid for this period that you're claiming either business ownership or senior management. They don't accept it if you just say, I owned the business, I ran it, but I never got paid. The business you plan to establish, if it's a new business, should create at least one full-time job, unless you're buying an existing business, in which case you don't need to create a new full-time job. You require at least a high school diploma to be eligible to apply for this program, although applicants with post-secondary education are prioritized, although it's not mandatory. Run your business on a work permit that they will issue you a letter of support for this work permit to apply for IRCC after you interview, net worth audit, and expression of interest and invitation to apply. 2, run the business for 12 months inside the province or that community, and then apply to be nominated for permanent residency. Let's look at the disadvantage and advantages of this program. And thanks, folks. We're going to jump into your comments and questions soon, so bear with us. I'm seeing there's a lot of comments, and hello back to everyone. I'll be there soon. So let's look at the advantages, disadvantages of the Rural Entrepreneur Program. Well, the advantages: it's one of the lowest investment in entrepreneur programs across Canada. Right? It's one of 2 actually. That doesn't require you to be a graduate of some kind of school in Alberta or outside. For net worth verification, the assets can be under both your spouse's and your common law's name. Other provinces are stricter and say it has to be under your own name. This program is not a pilot program. unlike the BC Regional Pilot Entrepreneur Program, which is also one of the lowest investment programs, but this one is a permanent program, so it's good. Your application will be prioritized if you're purchasing a business. So, and if it's 100% transfer of ownership, or if you have relatives in Canada, you will be at the top of the selection process, let's say by the provincial office, when you submit your expression of interest. Another key advantage is that your work experience or managerial experience, right? Or let's say your business ownership and or managerial experience can be calculated from the past 10 years. So this is key for people who have come out of, let's say, corporations where they had high-level jobs, or they've almost retired or sold their business, and it's been 10 years. A lot of provinces actually consider only the last 5 or 6 years for your business ownership or senior management experience eligibility. But Alberta calculates the last 10 years, which gives you a bigger window of opportunity, which is great. What are the disadvantages? You cannot have a co-applicant or partner for your proposed business unless they're a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. The Alberta provincial office prioritizes applicants who are between the ages of 21 to 49, have a post-secondary diploma or certificate or degree of 1 year or more longer program. So it doesn't mean you have to have these, but these are their preferences. So you could still be 55 years old and apply and be successful. We do have clients who are over 50, just so you know. The program is only possible for rural communities. You can't apply and invest in Calgary or Edmonton or those surrounding regions in these two major metropolitan areas, because this is a rural entrepreneur program, not a typical one. Remember, folks, we're always posting about these key details for provincial business immigration programs and other programs for professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors, people who are serious about getting their permanent residency and don't want to beat it around the bush. And if that's what you're interested in, you can subscribe and press the subscribe button on our YouTube channel for more deep dive videos. Let's look at the Alberta Graduate Entrepreneur Stream. There's another business immigration program, but for international students who graduated. It's a great option if you're concerned coming to Canada as a mature student, don't want to be bothered finding a job to actually convert yourself to permanent residency after you graduate from the college or university in Alberta, and don't want to invest outside of Calgary or Edmonton, and don't meet the minimum investment or net worth of, let's say, the rural entrepreneur program, right? So let's say for any of these reasons, you're considering the Alberta Graduate Entrepreneur Stream. Here's the key features. It's a very popular program for international students, right? It's one of the most convenient programs because it has the most relaxed eligibility criteria amongst the international student graduate entrepreneur programs across all the provinces. There's no minimum net worth, no minimum investment, no minimum job creation, no minimum work experience mandatory for this program. Wow. Did I just hear that right? The eligibility criteria for the Alberta Graduate Entrepreneur Stream. You should have completed a 2-year post-secondary degree or diploma from a public post-secondary institution in Alberta and should be eligible for postgraduate work permit. You do need a valid postgraduate work permit at the time of applying your expression of interest. A language exam score of CLB 7, which is typically an IELTS exam of 6.0 in each band. Minimum 34% ownership of the new or existing business, whichever you prefer, that you're proposing to start or buy into. Run your business on a work permit for 12 months inside Canada, and then apply to be nominated for permanent residency through the provincial office. As you may have noticed, this program is one of the easiest eligibility criteria you can come across in any business immigration or international student entrepreneur program across all of Canada. So if you think that any other entrepreneur programs, let's say in BC, Alberta, Ontario, or other places, are just too much for you to handle, you're not eligible, you don't have the investment funds or anything else, well, studying as a mature student in one of the Alberta colleges or universities, and then going through this program sounds pretty simple. Here's the advantages and disadvantages of this program if you're contemplating to come to Alberta, study, graduate, and apply for your own path of permanent residency by starting or buying into an existing business. Here are the advantages. The eligibility we just discussed had no mandatory investment or job creation or net worth or work experience. So they are bonus points, but they're not mandatory. You can invest in a business or start a business anywhere in Alberta. So it means even in Calgary and Edmonton. So you're not restricted to the rural regions of the province. You could technically have no investment funds for this business, but have external financing from institutions or private investors as part of your business plan. If you're already on a postgraduate work permit, you could technically gain some work experience while you're studying, maybe even as a student or afterwards with a postgraduate work permit, and then gain a little bit of traction, how to do business in Canada, the work culture, the business culture, and then start your business. If you have a 3-year postgraduate work permit, maybe work 1 year, and then in the second year, start your own business and then go through that. If your previous employer is not interested to sponsor you through the provincial nominee skilled immigration stream. Here are the disadvantages of the Alberta Graduate Entrepreneurship. You need to complete a post-secondary degree or diploma of 2 years or more in a public institution. And it's even if your spouse does the study, you're not eligible to apply as a main applicant under this program. Priority is given to applicants with a minimum of 6 months work experience. Although it's not mandatory, it does make you more competitive. A valid postgraduate work permit is mandatory at the time of applying for this program. And remember, if your postgraduate work permit is expiring in the next 1 or 2 months, well, that's too tight because it'll take about 2 months for them to figure out and approve you and issue the letter of support to apply for a new work permit. So be careful with that. It is possible, but be careful with that. The Alberta Foreign Graduate Entrepreneurs. Well, this is a favorite program for many solo entrepreneurs. This is the third program we're covering today. And we call this program the Provincial Startup Visa Program. It is a provincial replica of the federal Startup Visa Program with some key differences, which we'll cover in today's session. The Alberta Foreign Graduate Entrepreneurs Team is also known as the Provincial Startup Visa, as we said, and it's considered one of the lowest business and investment immigration programs in all of Canada for applicants who don't need to study or have graduated from anywhere, right? I mean, yes, not from inside Canada, but you should be a graduate from outside of Canada. I apologize for that mistake. It is a work permit to permanent residency program, which can be applied from outside of Canada and does not require an exploratory trip in advance for your application. Here's the eligibility. You should have graduated from any public post-secondary institution outside of Canada in the past 10 years. Okay, so that's important. A letter of support from a designated organization, as per the Alberta Provincial Immigration website. There's only 2 designated organizations which are eligible. The designated organization will help you with your business plan and pitch deck. A language exam score of Canadian language benchmark 5 in English or French. You should own the new business with at least 51% if it's in Calgary, Edmonton, or 34% minimum ownership if it's outside of these metropolitan areas. Minimum 6 months documented work experience in, running a business, managing it, or any kind of business experience. That 6 months can also be considered if you've been working with an incubator or accelerator for that amount of time. A minimum investment of $50,000 if it's in the rural parts of Alberta. Minimum investment $100,000 if it's in Calgary, Edmonton regions. Run your business for at least 12 months and then apply for nomination for a permanent residency. The innovative business concept should be linked to one of these industries: technology, aerospace, financial services, energy, agriculture, tourism, life sciences, or pharmaceuticals. What are the advantages of this program? You don't require to study or graduate from inside Canada. You can apply directly from outside Canada without initially visiting Canada. No geographic restrictions of where you set up your business. There's no exploratory trip required. Work experience requirements are the lowest out of any business immigration program in Canada. The investment is one of the lowest in any immigration program that doesn't require you to study and have graduated inside Canada. And one of the incubators which is designated for this program is a pay to play type of incubator, which means as long as you pay their invoices and follow their instructions, you will receive a letter of support. Not very difficult. Unlike the federal startup visa program, the provincial startup visa program is very straightforward and has a high success rate. Disadvantages of the program: only applicants who have completed a degree from overseas in the past 10 years are eligible to apply. A net worth audit of your assets will be conducted, although it's not mandatory to have a net worth. It's a bit unusual, but there you go. The businesses should be linked to the specific industry that the province has stated on the website, and be a new startup venture and be innovative. So if you're trying to run a coffee shop or restaurant or any kind of non-innovative business, it's tough to go through this program. Unlike the federal startup visa program, it's a sole entrepreneur or sole founder program. So you cannot go with co-founders in a group to apply for this program. So there you go, folks. That's the provincial startup visa program, which is also called the Alberta Foreign Graduate Entrepreneur Stream. The Alberta Farm Stream. Okay, we're going to stop here. The Alberta Farm Stream is a traditional farm entrepreneur program for serious farmers only. It's a very niche program. There's no flexibility in trying to apply for this program if you're not a 100% full-time documented farmer. This program has been part of Alberta's provincial business program for quite some time now and continues to be a core part of the province's initiatives. The eligibility, well, the key eligibility and features of the program are quite simple. You need to invest at least $500,000 and be a full-time documented farmer. This is a serious program for farmers only. I don't recommend anyone trying to apply for this program if you were a part-time farmer, or you used to be a farmer 10 years ago, or you own farms but don't operate them, or you don't have documentation to prove it. The provincial immigration officers will know in less than 3 minutes in an interview if you're a serious farmer. And if you know anything about farmlands in Canada, you will know that you can't actually buy a viable operational farmland for $500,000. Okay. And here's a quick fact. This program is a direct permanent residency program. Okay. So it's not a work permit to PR. It's a direct permanent residency. However, it's for serious farmers only. Do not try to game the system. Do not try to apply for this program if you are not a hardcore farmer, and they're also quite picky about the type of farm processing you were used to in your home country. If it was a very traditional, non-automized, mechanical type farming, and the size and scale of the farm, they may not accept you. So this is an invitation only. If you're not serious farmer, don't even bother thinking about this program. Okay. What if you're not eligible for Alberta provincial entrepreneur programs? Well, you've got federal LMI exempt work permits that you can apply and settle in Alberta. You can also consider other provincial entrepreneur programs, because if you're not eligible for Alberta, you can look at other programs as well, where they may not have upfront language exam scores or shorter periods of work permit and nomination periods, right? Those may be better options for you. Possible alternatives are the Manitoba Provincial Entrepreneur Program, the BC Regional Pilot Program, which has the same investment net worth, or just the Federal Startup Visa Program, which has no net worth, has no minimum investment, has no work experience or education mandatory requirements, although you got to be careful with that program. Watch my videos and make sure you're eligible, or at least have some basic criteria. If you cannot take the language exam score up front when you're applying with your expression of interest, consider the Ontario Entrepreneur Program as an alternative, because language exam scores are not due until 18 to 20 months later when you've implemented the business. So that gives you time to study and prepare. Alternatives in terms of the LMI exempt work permits, well, you can do the C10. It's a LMI exempt work permit for investors and entrepreneurs. It's a federal program. You can go to any province like Alberta, and you don't need to meet the provincial requirements anymore. You can invest in a business, an existing one or a new one. You can do joint ventures. There's no provincial regulatory requirements there. You can do the intercompany transfer, which can be combined with the Alberta Provincial Skilled Immigration Program if you watch any of our other videos, while skipping the whole provincial business eligibility criteria for the province, for the programs we just covered. And of course, if you're from a country which has bilateral agreements with Canada, allowing mobility of specific groups of professionals and investors, you may have more options to start or buy a business to settle in province of your choice under the federal LMI exempt work permit programs. Here's some key tips in terms of applying and looking to apply, invest, and settle in Alberta through these business immigration programs. Try not to apply with the bare minimum eligibility requirements. Besides the foreign graduate stream, also known as the provincial startup visa, an exploratory trip to the region or community for the other programs is a critical step. Try to come up with a business concept which would match the province's priorities in terms of investment attraction when you're making your business concept and applying. Make sure you're 100% aware of the business plan you're submitting, because that'll be your blueprint for actually implementing the businesses after they've invited you to apply and you've applied for your work permit to implement the business. Keep in mind that most of the programs are 2 to 3 stages, and you would need to be prepared for each stage and follow the specific timelines and criteria of reporting to the province in Alberta at each stage. The key to success in applying for an Alberta business immigration program is to prepare in advance and to do your research. If you like immigration hacks, creative immigration solutions, or key analysis and the raw truth about immigration policies, updates, and programs, you can click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're thinking about immigrating, whether permanently or temporarily, you are at the right place. I can guarantee only one point. You'll know what to expect, entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our legal agreements are based on payment milestones, so we do not take 100% advance payment for business immigration clients. We have a $1 million liability insurance, which protects you and us from fraud or mistakes, as well as a dedicated client trust account with our Canadian banking institutions. Our team speaks over 9 languages. We've helped people from over 50 different countries in their immigration process. You can click the link below this video and get a free email assessment if you're serious. If you're ready to apply, you want a one-on-one session with me or any of my licensed immigration team members, you can also book a consultation using the consultation link below this in the description of this video. And of course, if you want to take our immigration knowledge for a test drive before booking the one-on-one session, you can tune into our YouTube live session every Thursday, 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, where we answer all of your immigration questions for free on the spot. And yes, we're on our YouTube right now. We are in our live. Okay, we're going to start from up top. We got a lot of folks here, our regulars, some usuals, and some newcomers. Faisal Khan. Hello, Razam from Bangladesh. Nice to meet you, Faisal. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube live session today. Faisal, 15 days before I had emailed you, Rena replied me about consultation fee, but I can't send it to you from my country. Faisal, so if you do want to book a consultation, you typically use a credit card, maybe a debit Visa card, or if you have family or relatives who can make a payment for you here locally. We do take all kinds of payment, or you can even wire transfer, but the banks would probably take 30% of that payment and put it in their own pocket because of all their high fees. But that's typically the only way we can accept, because we don't have any agents in your country. Abdul Rahman Salat, Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum assalam, Mr. Abdul. AP Kamash, hi Reza, good morning. AP Kamash, good to see you. We've got some regulars here and some new faces. Faisal Khan, I want to know about if I apply for federal startup investment, which provinces should I select? With the federal startup visa, Faisal, you don't actually need to select a province, right, to settle, except as long as it's outside of Quebec. Even if your incubator, venture capital, or angel investor is in a province, you can settle in another province outside of Quebec. So you don't really need to pick a province. The more important aspects are your business concept, where you want to invest, how you want to invest, and who will endorse you and issue the letter of support. If you do require help, reach out to our office, as that's one of our specialties. Fahime Rafi, hi Reza from Vancouver. Hi Fahime, yes, of course Fahime. I remember you from our previous sessions. Hope Vancouver is good. I know it's like 9:30. What is it? 8:30 right now in the morning. Wow, you're an early riser. Janish MK, hey Reza, good morning. How are you? Hey Janish, how are you? Welcome to our YouTube live. Faisal Khan. Faisal is asking, federal startup investment program, how much cost need to include you? Needs to include you. I don't know what that means, but in terms of investment, you got to put money aside to invest in your startup business, okay? And you have to cover the incubator, venture capital, angel investor admission fees and professional fees if you're hiring anyone. So it depends on your business, right? So, I mean, if anyone has below $50,000 to cover, $50,000 to $80,000 to cover all these other fees plus investment, then you shouldn't even be concerned this program. Akip Hakamash, is Alberta any fun to live though? That's a good one. It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it may not be as crazy as Toronto, but it's actually pretty good, I would say. I would recommend it. It has my thumbs up. Emir Askri. Hi, everyone. Hello, Emir. Welcome to our live stream today. We're talking about Canadian immigration. Ils Kumar. Hello, sir. Good morning, Ils Kumar. Nice to see you. Welcome to our show. JTRCF, Channel Dubai, Canada. Welcome back. Hello, Reza. Good morning. Good morning to you. Well, depends on where you are, right? Yahya Khan, CPA, CMA. Sorry, I missed first part. How much initial investment is required for this program? Yahya, sorry, I'm not sure which of the 4 programs, but the Rural Entrepreneur Program is 100,000 minimum investment with 300,000 net worth. And then the other programs have more relaxed criteria for minimum investment and net worth that we covered for Alberta, but you do need to be a recent graduate of either overseas or inside Canada or Alberta. Abdul Rahman Salam, my friend applied for a work permit visa from India. It is more than a month after his biometrics are updated, but no medical request received yet. What should we do in all this affected processing times? Abdul, it may take several months to get a work permit processed. I always recommend to do an upfront medical. I don't understand why you would do a medical after, but a lot of people do it. But it may take several months. Faisal Khan, one of my friends are CIC member fees charging 80,000 CAD for federal servant. Is it worth it? Yeah, Faisal. So it depends. Paying like me or anyone else 80,000 is useless. You need to be spreading that money into your business, the designated organization fees, all these sort of things, right? So the total cost could come over to $100,000, Faisal, right? But don't pay one person for everything. You got to be paying everyone different for the different parts, components that they're planning to do for you, right? Whether it's a designated organization, maybe business consulting, maybe immigration, investment into your business. Watch our video, the video that I made, and it's like $1 for letter of support. Watch that video and you'll understand what you should be paying for. Okay, it's one of our videos in the last 4 weeks. I have a little $1 bill sign. It says $1 for letter of support. Sheikh Mohammed Qasim, which graduation is needed for this? Sheikh, there was 2 graduate programs we did. One from inside Canada, Alberta, 2-year degree or diploma, and one from outside. So if you have like a college or an associate degree or university degree from outside in the last 10 years, any subject, you could be eligible for the Foreign Graduate Entrepreneur Program in Alberta. Ils Kumar, I'm on a PGWP in Canada, got an LMIA on my name, which is just high wage. Can I claim points right away? And when should I change to closed work permit? Unless changing work permit can't claim points. Yes. If you have a valid LMIA and a closed work permit that links you to that LMIA, you can claim your points in express entry immediately. Okay? Good news. Emir Askiri. Hi, got the letter of support from incubator in Ontario. I'm a veterinarian. I've applied under the startup visa program with Digital Health Project. We are 3 partners that are willing to invest. Are we eligible? 3 of us are postgraduates personally at a senior position, multinational pharma company for the last 8 years. Please advise. Well, you already have the letter of support, Emir. So which program are you talking about? Like for startup visa? Well, you already have a letter of support, and yeah, you have your language requirements, criminals, police clearance certificate, medical exam clear. You're good to go. You're eligible to apply, but whether you get the PR or not depends on what you do for your business. And you can watch our videos on startup visa, IRCC processing, the $1 letter of support, and the one advantages, disadvantages, and a whole slew of startup visa videos we have about how to actually get approved for startup visa, because everyone's eligible, but how do you get approved for PR? But yeah, from what you told me, you are eligible and you already have a letter of support. So you're on track, but you got to invest and develop the business. Everyone has to be proactive. Keep that in mind. Nikki Patel, hello Reza, good morning. Hey Nikki, nice to see you. AP Kamesh, yes. Hi Reza. Hold on. I have seen news that Alberta is in a housing crisis and they don't really have resources to support all these startups. Do you think the Alberta Business PNP is worth it? AP Kamesh, the whole housing crisis is everywhere. Toronto is as bad. The thing is, Alberta is more affordable, right? So you could literally find places more affordable. Yes, renting might be tricky, right? But in Toronto, it's maybe even worse and more expensive. So Alberta, I would say, is worth it. But again, there's a lot of other options. You could go to Manitoba. You could go Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, not my preference, but Vancouver, regional, rural, right? So there's options, but generally the housing crisis is across Canada. It's not just one location. Nikki Patel, after applying for a work permit under startup visa program, when can we expect our results? Usually, I think it would take about 3.5, 4 months. Some countries get it in 2.5 months. Some I've seen 4.5 months. Mir Anvar, hi Reza. Hey Mir, nice. Thanks for joining our live session today. Few L, but you still need English when you apply for the business work permit, right? Yes, you do need English, but I'm not sure which one. In Alberta, you need English up front. Other provinces, you don't. Like in Ontario, you need it 2 years later when you're applying to be nominated for your PR. So not sure which program you're asking about. Fuel. Nikki Patel, if an applicant is not an essential person, however, a group member can move with the family under the work permit of SUV. No, not really. If you are not an essential person, you can't even apply for work permit. So family or themselves can't move. Mir Anvar, hi Rez, I started following you like a week ago and suddenly became a fan. Nice. Much impressed with your knowledge and presentation skills. Thanks, Mir. Thanks for the positive feedback. Appreciate it. Faisal says, which is the best federal startup visa program or PNP SUV program? Well, with the provincial startup visa, it's only in Alberta. No other program has it or province. And the best federal startup visa program is just the federal startup visa program. There's no subcategories, Faisal. You just apply. It's all one federal program for the federal startup visa. If you're interested, let us know. We can assist. But again, are you a sole founder? Are you going to be in a group? These are all key things. And are you willing to invest in a business? If not, maybe those are not the right programs for you. Mir, Anvar, I'm on an open spousal work permit because my wife was doing a PhD research work. Then she got an extension from a university and we filed the permit extension July 20th. No responses yet as we should be expect. When should we expect a reply? Takes about 4.5 months. Yeah. Sometimes it happens in 3 months, but that's the best case scenario is 3 months. Okay. And then sometimes it takes 4.5 months. So 3 to 4.5 months from inside Canada for study permit extension. Janish MK Reza. So I'm a graduate student, but I'm looking to do internships and co-op, but I can't because of the 20-hour work limit. Can I apply for work permit with a co-op after letter? Co-op offer letter? No. So if you have a co-op, you already have a co-op work permit. That's that. You can't, unless you don't have it and you got to apply to get it, because you should have had that from the beginning if you applied correctly. The second thing is you can actually work more than 20 hours till the end of this year. There's no requirement. The international student programs is a temporary policy allowing international students who are studying full time to be able to work full time off campus until December 31st, 2023. This policy is in place, and potentially this policy could be extended because right now they're sending surveys out and asking students and seeing if the feedback is positive. So, Janesh, you don't need to do all that fancy stuff. You just work 40, 80, 60 hours as long as you maintain your full-time status as an international student. Abid Jamil. Hi, Reza. Under the ICT, the Intercompany Transfer Work Permit from Pakistan, any idea about processing times? It's tough to say, Abid, because Pakistan right now could have higher processing times. Usually, we don't expect anything under 4 months. But if it takes longer, it would not surprise me. Janish, for context, I don't have classes every day. It's only 10 days of every 2 months. So basically on break till then. Well, if you're on break still, it's fine. You can work full time. If you're studying, then you can still work full time for now until the end of December. P.S. My college doesn't offer co-op letters, but I can apply and get a co-op placement so I can use the offer letter to apply for work permit. Well, no, don't do that. As long as you have a valid study permit, you maintain your status, you can work full time off campus until end of December. Hi, Reza. Very good morning to you. Hey, Angel. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Very good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. AP Kamish, people are interested in the startup visa because I don't know the market was this big. Oh, AP Kamish, it is big. I try to educate everyone about other programs, but they all come back to startup visa. It's because that's what the market has promoted. That's what the agents have promoted. That's what the market is demanding, right? It's kind of like the iPhone. Everyone wants an iPhone. But then there's a whole bunch of other phones that are not less known than Samsung and Google and all that, right? And nobody may know about it because there's such a push for those specific phones. Same with startup visa. Angel, if the PR application is tied to a representative's GC key, is there any other way to track the processing of the application by the applicant? Not under startup visa, Angel, not right now. They will probably roll out something where you can track it, but there's no other way right now for startup visa. Literally, you just have an online portal, whether it's yourself or your representative. There's no separate tracking system for the startup visa as of today, September 14, 2023. Hopefully, they'll change that next 6 months, next year. We just have to wait and see. But unfortunately, at this point, there's no other options. AP College, anywhere except Saskatchewan is good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Saskatchewan is great for immigration, great, but for some reason, I just can't live there. Sorry. And does the PNP need an IELTS? Yeah, certain provincial nominee programs, AP Camish, do need IELTS. Certain ones you don't need IELTS immediately, and certain ones you don't need them at all. So there's so many sub programs in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, BC, right? Like in BC, skilled immigration, you don't need. It's not mandatory to have an IELTS. You do need the points, but you don't need the IELTS. But the provincial program, you do. For the entrepreneur program in BC, for example, you do need an IELTS. Eventually, when you want to do your PR, unless you do the rural regional where you need it upfront. Ils Kumar, thanks for the clarification, Reza. If I get an invitation before I apply for the closed work permit, what is the scenario? Can I apply for work permit after ITA before? No. You cannot claim points unless you have the closed work permit. Okay, so if you get an ITA right now, you just stick to your open work permit, apply for your PR. That's fine. Don't need to apply for the closed work permit. But if you're planning to claim the points to get the ITA, then you need the closed work permit. But if you're going to get the ITA anyways before you apply for closed work permit, then just don't apply for the closed work permit, right? Salman Shukut, you retracted the message. Okay, we'll catch you later. Janish, MK, but I got my student visa was only issued on May. Oh, you are very new student. My university student committee says otherwise, saying you can only do it if you got a visa before. So you're quite a new study permit holder, Janish. Where can I find a reason which state I can work till December? Yeah, so the policy is very strict as they mentioned, right? If you just got it in the last few months, you may not be eligible for that new policy. You can still work off campus 20 hours. You can work academic holidays full time, right? But you do have to double check regarding your study permit and the policy to make sure that you're eligible to apply for. If there is a co-op, you can apply for it. But if there was no co-op as part of your program originally, Janice, you can't actually apply for co-op work permit later. There has to be a co-op portion of your program, and you have to have a document from your college like that shows that it's a co-op in order for you to apply for a work permit. Let me quickly see, folks. Students. Hold on. Let me see the policy. You can if you apply for star permit extension on or before, if it was or extension. So it depends on when you applied for your work study permit. After, if your original study permit, which you're applying to extend, expires between November 15th and December 2023, you can work more than 20 hours per week off campus. You must stop working more than 20 hours when the date the original study permit expires. You must meet all of the requirements to be eligible. Receive the application for your original. We received the application for your study permit or extension before October 2022. Your study permit holder who's studying at a designated learning institution full-time, you're in Canada or have re-entered Canada before December 2020, you must have one of the following conditions printed on your study permit. May work 20 hours per week off campus or full-time, may accept employment off campus meeting eligibility criteria under Regulation 186 FB or W. So I'll give you the link. You could be, so I don't have all the details of your MCAM, Janish, I just put the link in the chat. Take a look at it. You know your study permit, when you apply, when you have it, when it's valid, all those. You can figure it out if you're eligible or not. So there's two categories. See if you meet the eligibility of all the eligibility of each category, either one, and whether you can work full-time off campus. Fuel, hi Reza, I just want to clarify for any kind of work permit. It seems the visa officer is looking for sufficient English language capabilities. Is there a way to address this without getting an IELTS test? Yeah, you studied in a post-secondary English program, few, right? You worked in an English country with an English-speaking employer, so you have work reference letters that state that. Those are some very basic ways of proving it. Nikki Patel, thanks, Reza. Nikki is taking off, I believe, right? No? See you next Thursday with new questions. See you, Nikki. AP Kamesh, the SAR visa is the iPhone, laugh, but makes sense. It's like paying your way to PR. Yeah, but it's not guaranteed, AP Kamesh. Mir Anwar, I'm an open spousal work permit till September 30th. Already filed extension. Also got my letter of support from an incubator. Applying for the PR work permit, but my can't complete documentation. So should I stay on my implied status or leave and apply for PR from home? No, PR you can apply from anywhere. It's the work permit that's different. So stay on the work permit you have now. Apply for your PR. If you're doing a letter of support under starter visa, you can apply from anywhere. You don't need to be outside of Canada for a PR application under starter visa program. Angel, did you guys get to hear Honorable Immigration Minister current views and has he got his mandate? No, we've heard the ex-minister talk about housing crisis and how everyone's blaming it on immigration, but we haven't heard anything from the new minister. I think he's just settling in, figuring things out, right? IRCC is a big department. Janish, thank you for the information, because that's what I was wondering, because my program has an optional co-op, but they won't issue a letter to the international students. That's why I was wondering if I could just straight copy the work permit during the program, straight apply. Well, just show proof of the program. So you got to have some documents to prove to IRCC that there is a co-op to apply. But yes, you can apply. I posted the link about working full-time off campus for specific international students here in the chat. Ils Kumar, my agent mentioned that there's a section 203 can allow you work for different employers, even if you get a work permit closed, since you have a PGWP not expired. Is it true? No such thing. You can only have one work permit. You cannot have a closed work permit and an open work permit and decide who you want to work permit. It doesn't exist. It's either a closed work permit or an open. If you apply for the closed, right, you continue on the same, you maintain the status of your open work permit. When you get your closed, the previous open is void and canceled. Okay, unless you don't apply for the closed and you just maintain the open work permit. There's no such thing. That is 100% incorrect. AP Kamish, do you think there will be a cap on immigration? Actually, I read it will cap at 500,000. Well, it's already around 500,000 for permanent residency. The key is temporary immigration, folks. The Canadian immigration will not lower the 500,000, right? If that's just BS. Temporary immigration, maybe they'll be more strict. Students, workers, but at the end of the day, I think it's all BS. I think it's all political fluff. They want to keep the public happy about rising house prices and tell them blame it on immigrants and blame it on the foreigners. There's no solution to the housing crisis except building more and building outside of the cities and making them more accessible. Otherwise, all this less immigration, do this, do that, that's all BS. Political fluff won't affect immigration, and you're not going to see low housing prices anytime soon in Canada. Janice MK, the optional co-op is not mentioned in the offer of employment letter, but in my program material, can I use that? You could maybe a program, a schedule, like the syllabus. I think it's important to have proof. If you don't have proof, how are they going to know there's a co-op? Janish, maybe take it to Service Canada and try to talk to them. No, Service Canada doesn't going to do anything for you. They're not IRCC. They don't issue work permits. Angel, any official data about SUV statistics? Are they meeting their allocated quota? Too early to say, Angel. Got to wait for a couple of months. We'll have more insight into that, and we'll definitely post it and talk about it. Good question, though. AP Kamesh, Airbnb folks pumping the house prices. Well, AP Kamesh, I'm an Airbnb guy too myself. So if anyone's in Canada or anywhere in US and you've got more than one property, you're going to Airbnb the hell out of it, right? Cost of living is high. You got to make extra bucks. That's how it works here, especially if you're in Toronto, Vancouver, big metropolitan. If you're in cool, crisp, rural, smaller towns and provinces like Nova Scotia and all these places, you don't have that pressure anymore to, make up for the expenses, extra income, high cost of living, high cost of accommodation. You don't have those pressures. That's why, folks, rule of thumb, don't come to Toronto or Vancouver. Seriously. I don't even know why I'm here. I would love to get out, probably out of the country, but that's a whole nother live or video. Janice, so I have to upload to RCC portal, let's say my syllabus and apply. Well, yeah, you do an actual work permit application, right? You should have actually done it originally, but that's fine. You can still do it now. Abdul Rahman, is the housing crisis real or all hyped up? Yeah, it's more than real. It's less hyped than it is. Okay, it becomes fair talk, but some people have like 50 Airbnb properties. Yeah, of course. But that's a business. That's what they do for a living. This is what I do for a living, right? So the people who have 50 Airbnb and they're doing Airbnb, yeah, that's what they do for a living. That's their job, right? I mean, can't blame them. AP Kamish, I'm planning to get a job in Toronto. Guess I'm finished. No, don't worry. Toronto is vibrant. It's good. It's lots happening. It's a hub. It's an international hub. You won't regret it. You just have to work your butt off like I do. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, folks. Thanks for joining us for YouTube Live. We will be back next Thursday, 11 a.m., answering your questions or taking us for a test drive on your immigration knowledge before you book your one-on-one consultation with me or any of my licensed team members. Angel's asking any official stats. No, you probably missed it, Angel. We talked about it. There's no official new statistics out yet that we can utilize to do an in-depth analysis. We expect it to be available later on this year towards the end of November or December. And we will definitely post or talk about it or make videos about it. So good question, as I said. AP Kamich, thank you, Reza. Great live, like always. Thanks, AP Kamich. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Angel. Abdul Rahman, Janesh, thanks for joining us. Mir Anvar, great meeting you. Nikki Patel, if you're already gone, see you next time. Ils Kumar, double check with your agent. Should not be giving you incorrect information. Faisal Khan, reach out to us if you'd like to book a consultation. Fuel, there's ways to get around the whole English speaking. Emir Askri, good luck with your startup. You guys sound like a professional group. Just make sure you invest, and it's not a backseat. You need to be the pilot of the business. You got to push it forward. Don't just sit around and wait for the PR. It's not going to happen. Sheikh Mohammed Qasim, and that's it. JTRCF channel Dubai Canada, Yahya Khan, and that's it, I guess. Thank you very much. And Fahime Rafi from Vancouver, of course. And there's a lot of people who didn't say anything, but they were watching. Thank you for joining us. Mir, need consultation time. Sure, you can book, and we can manually, if you can't book it automatically, you can reach out to us and say you're more urgent. Janish, yeah, Els Kumar, no problem. Mir, see you later if you book. Thanks, everyone. Next Thursday, see you soon. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And remember, in the world of Canadian immigration, you are guilty till proven innocent. See you next time.